Village girl spotted a red flower on the ground, and was so frightened she hastily plucked and buried it, for a terrifying legend had long circulated in the village. Red was the forbidden color. If anything red appeared in the village, a monster covered in spikes would come calling, slaughtering every villager, and villagers were forbidden to step outside the village gates, lest they too meet a deadly fate. For years, the villagers had strictly adhered to this pact, fearing the worst should they break it. Yet one day, a bold young man defied the superstition. Donning a yellow cloak, he ventured outside the village, and plucked several red flowers from the forest. Unexpectedly, precisely because of this, strange events unfolded that very night. While keeping watch at night, the sentry suddenly heard strange sounds beneath the watchtower. He slowly lifted a wooden plank to investigate. Just then, a crimson figure flashed past. Realizing the monster had come for them, he urgently rang the village alarm bell. Hearing the bell, villagers rushed home in a frenzy, hiding in their cellars. But in this crisis, a blind girl hesitated to shut her door. Her boyfriend hadn't returned yet. Soon, the monster slowly approached her. Fortunately, her boyfriend arrived just in time, pulling her into the house and into the cellar. Everyone prayed for a peaceful night, but early the next morning, every household's door was sprayed with red paint. Clearly, the monster's vengeance was far from over. To prevent the monster's return that night, the villagers hastily prepared a feast. They dressed someone in yellow robes, and tossed a piece of pork onto the sacrificial stone, hoping to appease the creature. Yet that night, strange events unfolded again. A blood-curdling scream pierced the air, and the villagers discovered in horror that many livestock lay skinned and dead on the grass. To guard against another nighttime attack, the villagers all hid indoors and locked their doors. Only a blind girl ventured outside, for her boyfriend was waiting at her door for their date. It turned out he had come to guard her for her safety, which deeply moved the blind girl. She immediately decided they would hold their wedding in a few days. Little did they know that nearby, a pair of eyes was fixedly watching them. Early the next morning, a simpleton knocked on her boyfriend's door. Before he could explain his purpose, he drew a knife. The boyfriend collapsed instantly, learning trouble had struck her boyfriend's home. The blind girl rushed there without hesitation, but when she entered the house, her boyfriend lay dying on the floor. With the village's limited resources, the village doctor had no antibiotics to administer. To save her boyfriend's life, the blind girl made a bold decision. She pleaded with her father, the village chief, to let her go to the town pharmacy for medicine, threatening to die if denied. She left the chief with no choice. He broke protocol and permitted his daughter to fetch medicine. But before she left, her father led her to a secluded wooden hut, and revealed a long-hidden secret. He took her hand and guided it to touch the monster's clothing. The father explained that no monsters existed outside. The monsters were villagers he had arranged to impersonate. He had done this to protect the villagers. He urged his daughter to keep the secret at all costs. For her safety, the village chief specially assigned 2 bodyguards. They believed she would return soon, but no sooner had they left the village, a strange incident occurred. As they walked, a sudden downpour began. They had no choice but to pitch a tent for shelter. But then, the monster's roar echoed through the air. The guards were instantly terrified and fled. Thus, the blind girl had no choice but to journey to town alone. The mountain path was now muddy and treacherous, and her eyes could see nothing. Soon, she stumbled and fell into a tree hollow below. Fortunately, she grabbed a nearby branch, and narrowly avoided being trapped in the hollow. But as she continued onward, the monster's voice echoed once more. Sensing grave danger, the blind girl sprinted forward with all her might. The monster pursued relentlessly behind her. Realizing this was no way out, the blind girl suddenly had an idea. She slowly spread her arms to meet the creature. Just as it lunged forward, she sidestepped, tricking it into the hollow. But what fell in wasn't the monster at all. It was the village simpleton. It turned out the simpleton had secretly loved the blind girl. Learning she'd gone to town for medicine, he'd deliberately dressed as a monster to scare her. Little did he know he'd lose his life, unaware it was the village idiot in disguise. The blind girl rushed through the forest with branches in hand, desperate to reach town for the antidote. Soon, a wall blocked her path. As she pondered how to scale it, a passing patrolman spotted her. Learning she needed anti-inflammatory medicine, he offered to fetch it from town for her. Thus, after enduring countless hardships, the blind girl finally brought the healing medicine back to the village. Fortunately, thanks to the timely arrival of the medicine, her boyfriend escaped the danger of death. She thought the village chief would reveal the secret, but he did not do so. Instead, he framed the monster for the fool's death, and then his daughter used the tree hollow to kill the monster. And so, this terrifying legend continued to be passed down.